Hey, this is Eric Arnold, and it's Friday, November 5th, here in the Sports Barn. We've got a ton of picks for you, college football picks. 2 today, 25 tomorrow. Let's get to it. Huge show. Congratulations to the Atlanta Braves. This channel was pretty heavy on baseball, I would say. I think we generated upwards of 500 picks. I'm going to say 500 picks over the baseball season. We ended up 26 units to the good, which I think was pretty good. You know, I felt really good about that. We didn't do a whole lot with the playoffs. My model really didn't set up too much for the playoffs. I think our opinions on the playoffs weren't way off. You know, I think we were pretty close. You know, I said there's no value on the Dodgers. The price is just too high. We thought Tampa was the best team coming out of the American League. We weren't right on that. I think coming into the World Series, we were kind of leaning the Braves' way, largely because I just think Dusty Baker's a jinx. I can't point to one thing in the series where Baker cost his team, but once again, he's on the short end. He just is, you know, so there it is. I know somebody owes me a cigar. I know I had a gentleman's wager with one of our subscribers for a high-priced cigar, so I'm going to have to cash that in at some point. But yeah, congratulations to the Braves. No one wants to see the Astros win unless you live in Houston, I guess. The well-established cheating Houston Astros take it on the chin. Hey, they had their chance. I mean, you know, they had the lead late in Game 4, and they couldn't close the deal. You know, when was it Swanson and Soler went back-to-back, and that was the game. It was that was the turning point in the series, that Game 4. If the Astros had been able to hold that lead, then it would have gone 7, and I think the Astros would have won. But they couldn't, didn't. World champion Atlanta Braves, congratulations. I got to say a few words here, and you can just skip ahead here to the picks, but got to say a few words about Tuesday night. I really want to thank and congratulate my moderate Democrat friends. You guys did it. You came through. Yes, some of you must agree with me then. Some of you people must agree with me because it was a resounding ass-kicking of the Democrats on Tuesday night. And it happened in places where there were a lot of Democrat voters. So it wasn't all us MAGA, red hat, crazy people that were doing the ass kicking. It was you moderate Democrats that came out and voted against the Democrat Party. And I'm talking to my moderate friends. I know there's some of you out there that are absolutely hopeless. You know, you people that subscribe to the New York Times, you watch CNN, you watch MSNBC, you think every last thing that the Republican Party does is some kind of racist dog whistle. You people are hopeless. I mean, there's just no hope for you. You're brainwashed. All we can do is outnumber you. You know, we're never going to convince you you're wrong, so all we can hope to do is outnumber you. I'm talking about the people that just live their lives, aren't that wrapped up in politics, occasionally read a news article of variety of sources that haven't totally lost the ability to think critically, probably hate Donald Trump because he's a self-absorbed braggart. You people came through like champions. The Democrat candidate in Virginia, former incumbent governor in Virginia, should have won easily. He lost. My God, in New Jersey, one of the liberalist states in the country, the governor of New Jersey, a Marxist Democrat, he pulled through by that much. He was almost beaten in what probably would have been one of the bigger political upsets in the last 50 years. I'll give you an example of an upset in New Jersey. The president of the Senate, the state Senate in New Jersey, this guy's been there for 20 years. He's been the president of the Senate for the last 11. He got beat by a truck driver, no less. Maybe you've heard this one. It's not a joke. This really happened. Just a guy who drives a truck. He drives a truck for a living. He went out and said, yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. Everything that guy believes, I believe the opposite. And he won. He won. So, the president of the Senate, he's still there looking around going, what just happened? What did the teachers' unions not kick in their millions of dollars to support me? What happened? You lost, dude, to a truck driver. So it's everything I could hope for, that we could hope for. It shows to me that everything I've been preaching here in this barn for the past several months is in the majority. In other words, people don't like mask mandates. People don't like vaccination mandates. People are sick of being frightened to death on this stupid goddamn flu that has been going on now for upwards of 2 years. That people don't like having their freedoms just snatched away from them and then told, too bad, that's the new normal. You just need to like it or lump it. We're sick of this shit. So this is a positive, very positive. Now, is it going to stop these guys? No, apparently not. January 4th, that's when the vaccination mandate that Joe Biden has promised us all, that's when it goes into effect. If you work for a company, 100 employees or more, by January 4th, your employer has to make sure you're vaccinated or have some protocol in place where you can be tested at least once a week. Now, I think they'll just fire you if you're not vaccinated. So that leaves you with a real tough decision. I mean, did it scare them off this vaccination mandate, this robust ass kicking they took on Tuesday? No, it didn't. It didn't. Here's what it might have done, though. Here's what it might have done. I have predicted in this barn previously that we have no hope whatsoever in the courts of beating these vaccination mandates. That we'll simply lose because the courts are all Democrats. They're all run by Democrats. Possibly this will now signal to the courts, hey, it's okay to rule against these vaccination mandates. They're unpopular. The people don't want them. No one wants it. I won't say no one, not true. Some people very much want them. But the majority of people do not want these things. So that could signal to the leftist court legal system, hey, it's okay to rule against these things. I had another point there and it slipped my mind. But yeah, it's very possible now that it could possibly. Plus now you have some maybe moderate Democrats as well in the legislatures and the Congress that might be going, maybe we should slow down. I mean, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my job in a year when the midterms come if we don't slow down on this crazy Marxist socialist communism we're pushing. We got to slow down. So it's all we can hope to do. It's all we can hope to do. It's possible now. The point I was going to make there that I now remember is it's possible some of these moderate Democrats that are in the court systems, if there are any moderate Democrats in the legal system, they don't like the vaccination mandates any more than the rest of us do. So they might get it and go, I hate vaccination mandates too. Even though I'm a Democrat, I don't like this either. So, there are definitely some Democrats, because these were Democrat states that turned out Republican victories on Tuesday. So there are definitely some Democrats that don't like this shit any more than us libertarians, I'm a libertarian, or Republicans do. So it was a very hopeful evening Tuesday night. We can just cross our fingers and hope that we're able to continue forward with the momentum that we have to try to stop this stuff and limit the damage that Joe Brandon, and his people are doing. All right, here we go. All right, I'm kind of bitter. Our midweek slump continues, and I don't know. It's well, when you're right 54% of the time, you're wrong 46% of the time, and right now we're seemingly stuck in those 46% with another loss in the MAC. Akron fires their coach. I don't understand that. They beat us. In other words, they covered the spread. It was a close game. And then Akron turns around and fires their coach. It made no sense to me. It's like, well, I could see what the guy was doing. He's got all freshmen. I mean, he's building something. And I don't know. I mean, maybe they caught him banging the chancellor's wife or something. Who knows? But he's gone. Akron, they're going to start all over. We'll play against them the rest of the year. Seems like this year yielding lots of mid-seasons firings. So we're trying to, find those teams and beat them. Lafayette, that team just looked like shit last night. I really discouraged there with my choice there. It's like, what am I doing on this team? I'm watching some of that game, and they just looked awful. So I don't know. They won 45-0 the week before, and then last night they just looked horrible. But anyway, the picks this week, I got to admit, they don't feel that good. They really don't. So buyer beware. 27 picks. I'm thinking 14-13. That's what I'm hoping. I don't have a good feel this week. I just don't. But tonight we got the two games here. We got Virginia Tech at Boston College. Just think Virginia Tech's better. I still am pushing that angle where I think this coach he's not that bad. This team's not that bad. He needs to win to save his job. Boston College, I think Virginia Tech's better. I think they're better. So I'm going to say Virginia Tech continues to play half decently and beats Boston College. Utah, I guess this is one where I did this game early in the week because it was at the top of the schedule, so I got this one done first. And the line has moved from like 7 to 10, and I'm thinking that means Utah is where you want to be. That's a pretty big number, but said Stanford, they really didn't do much at all against Washington at home. They had like 6 people in the stands. They'll have 6 more people in the stands tonight, so very limited home field advantage there for Stanford. Utah, they seem to be starting to play pretty well, I guess. I mean, honestly, I don't remember what they did last week. I just don't remember. But at any rate, we got Utah. And remember, the model throws so many games on the board, and I didn't spend a lot of time trying to whittle it down this week. I just kind of the model likes this. There it is. Boom. I think I crossed one off. Other than that, everything the model likes, here you have it. So Pitt, Duke, this I kind of feel okay with. Pitt just scores a ton of points. They score a ton of points. They're probably going to be down a little bit, but not that much. I mean, Duke stinks, so I'm kind of thinking Pitt's just going to run all over these guys. We'll take Pitt. Let's see. This I like. I like Wake Forest. I like the coach at Wake Forest. He's got a good veteran team. He's got a good quarterback. We're getting points. I think Wake Forest is better than North Carolina. And why are we getting points? So I think you're getting real value here with Wake Forest. Minnesota, Illinois. This is one of these that I like Minnesota. The number makes me a little nervous, but we're kind of getting into the latter part of the season now. And a team like Illinois, which just plays bang, bang, smash mouth football, maybe they're going to wear down a little bit. Maybe they don't have that depth. Remember, this team is coming off a coaching change. This is the first year of Brett Bielema. So he may not have been able, he's still, there might have been a bunch of transfers once Lovey left, was canned, whatever. So there may not be that much depth on the Illinois team. So the Big Ten schedule may be starting to wear down Illinois a little bit, and maybe Minnesota is able to start to crack that depth, and some of those 4-yard runs start to turn into 8-yard runs, which start to turn into 80-yard runs. So we're going to go with Minnesota there. Ohio State, Nebraska. Ohio State has a habit of throwing a clunker in November or late October, November on the road, usually to a Western Division foe. Oddly enough, though, every time this has happened, I've been in the city of Pittsburgh. Every time this has happened, we got crushed by Iowa. We got crushed by Purdue. Urban was the coach when both of those happened, and I was in Pittsburgh. So this feels like that, but not like that. I'm not in Pittsburgh, and Ryan Day is the coach, not Urban Meyer. So this game's on artificial surface. That's advantage Ohio State. We're just faster than those guys. We can put up points. I like Ohio State here to probably cover this one pretty easily. Liberty, Mississippi. This one feels wrong. This has all the feels of a public dog. I actually looked it up just to see, and I'll say this: the money was coming in on Mississippi. But the bookmakers seem to be moving the number down off. I think this number was at least 10, maybe a little more. And even though the money's coming in on Mississippi, the number's starting to filter down. In other words, they're moving the number shorter on Liberty, as if money was coming in on Liberty. So whoever's betting Liberty, these bookmakers are paying attention to that money and not the larger sum of money that's coming in on Mississippi. So this to me, and this might be a sucker play, but it just feels like this is one of these that, all right, we're gonna, okay, Liberty's good. It kind of almost like earlier in the season when Lafayette played at Texas, and it was like, okay, this is where Lafayette's going to show the world we're all smart. We're smart college football fans, and Lafayette, they can really play, and they can play down in Austin, and then the Texas Longhorns killed them. This kind of feels the same way to me, that Mississippi's just going to kill Liberty. But the model likes Liberty. I think the bookmaker action shows that Liberty's to play. We'll play Liberty. We'll play Liberty and hold our breath. North Texas over Southern Miss. I have no idea why. Other than that, Southern Miss has an interim coach, so we'll take North Texas. Cal over Arizona. No idea there. I know Arizona's terrible. We'll take Cal. I think my note somewhere says that Cal has a decent coach. So maybe there's an edge for you. That's not a hateful price, only laying less than double digits against an awful team. So Cal. Cincinnati. All right, I guess we got to talk about this. The playoff, first iteration of playoff teams is out. And do they have any adults in the room that watch football that know anything at all about football? I mean, it was a joke. It was like, who made this up? Where's Oklahoma? I mean, you're telling me you got Michigan State in there? You got Cincinnati at 6? Are you kidding me? I mean, to me, the most impressive win all year would probably be Oregon beating Ohio State. So I didn't have a real problem having Oregon in the mix. But then how do you not reward Cincinnati for going to Notre Dame and beating them at South Bend, something nobody's done, other than Cincinnati. I guess, well, we all think Notre Dame sucks. We all know Notre Dame sucks. Okay, they suck, really? Because I don't think they do suck. But Alabama, exactly who have they beaten? You know, a close win at Florida. They've blown out some other SEC teams. They lost. You know, they have lost. So I don't know. I was unimpressed by the picks. To me, just don't make it too complicated. You just who's undefeated. You know, you start with those teams, and then you just let it shuffle its way out as you head towards the end of the season. But this just tells Cincinnati, you got no chance at all. There's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. We're not putting you in. No way, no how. Doesn't matter what you did. Oh, we almost beat Georgia last year in the bowl game. Well, that was last year. Plus, you didn't beat them. And we don't care. You know, we just don't care. That was last year. And you know, the goalposts will always move on Cincinnati. It won't matter what they do. The committee will always have another answer, another question, another question, another question. So Cincinnati, all they could do now is try to beat Tulsa 100-0. So, you know, that's enough to throw a play on it. You know, obviously Cincinnati is motivated to run up the score. You know, if I was Cincinnati, I'd try to get with the American commissioner and maybe find one of these teams that you could pay off, like a Tulsa or something, and say, look, let's do this. You guys agree to play all your freshmen. We're going to run tempo on you for 60 minutes. We're going to embarrass you, but we're going to make it up on the back end for you, either under the table or whatever. And we're just going to expose this sham of a committee for what it is, and we're going to put 104 points on you. You know, it'll be 104-3, and then we'll see what the committee says. And they'll still say you're not good enough. I would love to see Cincinnati score 80 points, just to see the committee come back, and they'd probably be 7th. Well, who has Cincinnati beaten? I mean, Tulsa. They're obviously not very good. It's nothing Cincinnati can do. Nothing. We're getting 3 touchdowns with Navy. Remember what I said about that? You get an option team and you can get 3 touchdowns. You got to take it. You got to take it. I don't think Notre Dame is that high-powered to begin with. So I think Notre Dame will win, but Navy's going to shorten the game enough that it'll be, I think, within 3 touchdowns. Wisconsin, Rutgers, gotta like Wisconsin here. Wisconsin is always a team you're looking at later in the schedule. That's a team that's got depth. That, as I mentioned, maybe in Illinois is starting to wear down now and cannot sustain that smash-mouthed attack for 60 minutes. Wisconsin can. I would put Rutgers in that category of this is a team without a lot of depth, and now we're into November, and here comes, you know, you got 2 teams here that want to run at each other, and I think one team is much more well-equipped to do this in November, and that's Wisconsin, and I think they're going to easily cover the 13. Oh, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, this is a good game. West Virginia, they're pushing here for a bowl game, but they get a win. I don't think they're going to. I think Oklahoma State's just better than they are. So we're going to take Mike Gundy and the Cowboys. Auburn, Texas A&M, same deal. We think Auburn is pretty close to what Texas A&M is. I don't think Texas A&M is all that much better than Auburn. We'll take the points there at College Station. Troy coming off a huge effort there. When was that? I think it was a midweek game last week against Coastal, coming up just short. So off that big effort, we're going to play against them and go with South Alabama. Hey, TCU fired its coach. That's an automatic play against. I think that was coming. In other words, Kirk Herbstreit, every time he says the word Gary Patterson, he always tells me what a great coach he is. But I don't know what the last time Gary Patterson really did anything. Maybe 2014. So I think that him being dismissed was coming. So now they're in that lame duck status that I told you about. We always look for that. That's bad. That's chaos. That's a whole bunch of kids now going, I don't know, man. I mean, what's my status? Should I mean, I don't want to, I'm going to transfer probably. I sure don't want to get hurt. This is all stuff you don't want entering the mind of anybody playing on Saturday. So Baylor, NC State, Florida State, boy, that Florida State quarterback I saw in the few minutes of that ridiculous loss against Clemson, he looked awful. So I think NC State's got a good team. I think it's a little bit inconsistent, but I think they're better. They're just better than Florida State, and we're getting points. I mean, that's kind of like everything you want as a better. You're getting a better team and you're getting points. You're getting paid to take the better team. So, hell, NC State. We like the way Central Florida blew Temple out last week. Scored a lot of points. Why not? We'll come right back with them this week again. Utah State, New Mexico State. I don't know if it's ever wrong to play against New Mexico State. That's one of the worst programs in Division I. Just generally an overmatched program. So we'll go ahead there with Utah State. Coastal, the model like this game, I wasn't wild about it. That's a lot of points. Plus that quarterback's banged up. This is one I probably should have crossed off, but we'll leave it there. It's there now. So we'll go ahead and say Coastal. It's sad, again, the committee decision here just kind of deflates all these good non-power conference teams. It's like, doesn't matter what you do, kid. Doesn't matter what you do, guys. You can have the greatest season you want, and at the end of it, we're going to reward you by letting you play San Antonio, or whoever the other good non-power conference teams are. They always play each other. They're not going to let them play like an LSU. They're not even going to let them play like an LSU. A power team that's having a down year. They won't even let them do that. They're just going to give them some other good non-power conference team. Sad. LSU, Alabama. I can't believe the number is what it is here, but I think it's a trap. If you want LSU, I think this is almost a trap. Where you think, wow, there's no way that LSU could be this much of an underdog. I don't know. I mean, again, Alabama, pencil them in for 50. So can LSU score 24 points on Alabama? I don't think they can. I think you could be looking at 50-21. That's just enough. I think my math's right on that. I'm sure it is. So, remember, Saban got to win these games, and he's got to look good doing it. He's got the committee in his corner, and they're going to push him. They're going to carry him a lot. But he has to help him a little bit. If he goes out there and has a 16-14 clunker against LSU, now all of a sudden the Oklahoma people are like, hey, what the fuck? I mean, we're undefeated, man. And we had a clunker, but we won it. And he has a clunker and he wins it, but he's got a loss. I mean, what about, and they're right. How on earth do you have Alabama ahead of Oklahoma? That mystifies me. It's like, you're just so sure that those teams would crush each other. Whatever, okay. We'll take Colorado here. I don't think we've had a lot of luck with this Colorado team. But it's generally a tough place to play. You're getting a bunch of points at home here against a not great opponent. I don't know. This is a model game. I can't explain it. We'll take the Buffaloes. The historic power here of the Boise State Broncos. Fresno coming off a big win over San Diego State. We're going to say they're going to be just a little down here. And Boise goes in there and gives them a game. Louisville. This is one where this just looks like this just feels like I'm walking into a complete trap. It might be such a complete trap that it's not a trap. You know what I mean? In other words, I'm only getting 4 points from Clemson? What? I should be getting like 24 points. But Clemson's just not very good. They struggled with a not good Florida State team last week. So, maybe Louisville is able to do some things there with Clemson that we don't think they can do. I don't know. We'll take a shot with Louisville. I'm not happy about this one. I think it's mostly a weather angle, the more I think about it. I think it's going to be cold at Louisville, and we're just going to say Clemson struggles a little bit, and Louisville keeps it. We're going to have to keep it really close. We're only getting 4 points. Not excited about that one. Houston, South Florida. You know what? I watched, I think we had South Florida last week, so I watched a little of that game against Eastern Carolina. The South Florida coach is a moron. He's a complete moron. I mean, he's getting 6, 8 yards of carry on the ground, and he won't run the ball. It's like this guy has NFL coach disease. Run the goddamn ball. Don't worry about throwing it. Don't worry about being fancy. Just run the ball. But he wouldn't do it. So I think he'll mostly stop himself against Houston. And that Houston's got a high-powered enough offense that if Houston gets up on South Florida, South Florida will take away their own best weapon, the running game. And then Houston will really get all over them. So we'll take Houston. Nevada up in the mountains in November against a California team. You got to like it. Laying the 10.5. We'll take Nevada. USC, this just a model game. Hey, USC. I couldn't tell you one reason why. Remember when USC was good? I remember that. I'm not that old. That I remember, Snoop Dogg and Pete Carroll, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart. Boy, those were good teams. Can you imagine, getting 9.5 points with a team like that they had in the mid-aught decade, early-aught decade? Wow. How far the mighty have fallen. 9.5-point underdogs at Arizona State. We'll take USC. So that's it. That's all we got. Let's hope we do. I mean, we've been doing well on Saturdays. It's the midweek games we're awful at. But during, these Saturday games are kicking ass. So let's hope we have another good Saturday. I went through these. Some of these didn't feel too, like that Clemson-Louisville game. But some felt pretty good, like Wisconsin and Oklahoma State. There was another one I really liked in there. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, that's all I got. Good. Thanks for being here. Hey, I just gave you a bunch of free college football opinions. If you care about that at all, hit the like button. Somebody in another video said that helps promote the video. I have no idea if that's true or not. It seems true. It feels true. So go ahead. Help us out here. Hit the like button. And if you're completely new, go crazy and subscribe. College basketball content will be coming up here, I think, at some point as we get to the end of the regular season of college football. So that would probably be December-ish. I think that's when we'll start transitioning into college basketball. And that'll take us all the way into the baseball season. So that's I think we're coming down with 3 sports here in this channel: college football, college basketball, and baseball. That's kind of where we're focusing. Good, great, thanks. Eric Arnold signing off.